Recently I came across my Nintendo DSi systems again, and I remembered that they have non-functional L&R buttons. Well, the black one at least did. The white one, sometimes the R button worked and sometimes it didn't. The L button seems to be fine though, so it's a little bit weird. The black one, however, they were electronically stuck down. The system always thought they were pressed, and you couldn't use stuff like the album anymore or the DSi browser because it will always scroll to the left or to the right with the cursor, and it was just a mess. So I fixed this thing a few days ago, and all I basically did was to apply a little bit of alcohol onto the button itself inside. And they're easy enough to take apart, so you don't have to be afraid of repairing your own DSi if you have a little bit of a little technical know-how. Okay, so first of all, of course, turn the system off, which is kind of important. We're going to take the battery out anyways, but just in case, you never know. Next thing is remove the game and just open the battery cover, which is easy enough. Take the battery out, standard procedure actually. And now we have a few screws here. Let me focus down again. There we go. So we have a few screws you have to remove. One is in the battery cover here, and there are two trim pods actually. You should not try to remove them. These are trim pods for the L and R buttons, and you don't have to touch them at all. There's just one screw here, which has a slightly bigger hole. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws in here. The last being under the battery cover still, so you basically have two screws under the battery cover here. And you have to take out this little nibble here too. Oh, and before I forget it, you also have this screw here. Another thing to remember is to take this SD card out, which I almost forgot here. You can basically leave the pen in, you don't have to remove it, but I'm going to remove it anyways because it will probably fly around once I take this thing apart. And yeah, so let's remove the screws here. Let me turn on autofocusing again. And sorry if the autofocus is a little wobbling around here. This is a quirk of this camera. I need a new one, but I never really came around to buy a new one so far. There we go. A magnetic screwdriver actually helps to remove these screws. Because they're so super tiny, you can't really grab them. And you don't have to keep any order in which they're in, except for the little tiny one on the front, or the cartridge slot. Because this is a tinier one than the rest. Let's take the little nibble out here, if I can grab it. There we go. I actually had to destroy the little nibble, because it was just disintegrating a little bit already after almost 12 years, or however how old this console is already. So yeah, it had to destroy this thing. But you don't really need it anymore anyways. It's just so it won't slide off or something. So let's focus down here again, and let's remove the last screw. The super tiny one here. And it should basically lift up now. You may have to unclip a few things on the front here with your fingernail, but it's not hard at all. It shouldn't be hard actually. You have to be careful because there's a ribbon cable connected on the motherboard underneath, so don't destroy that, because else you would not have access to the SD card, the L and R buttons, and I think that's it actually. But still, you still want to preserve that functionality. So you may have to use a little bit more than just your fingernail. At least the fingernail just worked on my black DSi, but yeah, now it let loose, okay. So now we have a ribbon cable here, which you can probably not see, but let me try to show it, as you can see it here, which you can't just pull off, so just be gentle a little bit. Press down on one side of the ribbon cable and just pull it off. It comes off easily enough, and you won't damage anything. So once this thing is open, it's actually pretty easy to repair this thing. You don't need the motherboard part, you can just put it aside, and now we have the half with the L&R buttons on here. And I will actually disable autofocus again because it's annoying. And all you have to do is to remove these two black pieces here, which actually hold the L&R buttons down. And be careful now, because the spring-loaded L&R buttons could pop off at any moment. They're easy enough to place back, but just be a little careful. You don't have to do it if you're careful enough. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's just remove these things here. And yeah, I'm sorry if you hear some noises outside here. There's a construction going on and I can't really do anything against it. So once that's removed, you have to remove the little gray plastic here, which is the pen holder. And it's easy to remove too. You don't have to keep any order of these screws again, because they're basically the same length and width. So nothing to worry there. There we go. Now we can remove the cover here, which also houses the SD card slot and the button itself. And all you're going to do now is to just take a little bit of your alcohol you've prepared earlier. Take a cotton swab or something. You could spray it on there if you have like, you can dribble it on there if you have a bottle or something. But I don't, so I have to use this method of just soaking it in alcohol a little bit. Maybe a little more. There we go. Now all you have to do is just soak the button itself in alcohol a little bit here. But be careful if you're using a cotton swab like I do. Be careful that you're not leaving strings behind, because these things have sharp edges. And these strings can easily catch on there and be inside. I mean, it doesn't matter too much, honestly, because it's just a button, but still. Just so you're not ruining anything. And just press it down a few times. Just press the button a few times, I mean. Just so it gets inside too and cleans it on the inside. There we go, that should be done. And yeah, the same with the, I think that's the left, yeah, that's the left button. Do the same with the left button. The PCB just lifts out after you removed all the screws here. So do the same here. I may need some more alcohol for this one. There we go. Just soak it in alcohol and press down a few times. There we go, this should be good too. Let's see. Maybe a little bit, there's not much on the back side. I may need a little bit more still. This thing absorbs the alcohol far too good. There we go, once this is done, just press it in a few times more. Just with your fingernail. Just to make sure you clean everything before the alcohol vaporizes again. And let's do the same to this one too again. Just because I feel I haven't soaked it enough before. There we go, let's press it in a few times too. There we go. Now reassembling is pretty easy. Just fit the PCB back inside here. And make sure that the ribbon connector is not trapped under anything here. There we go. It should just lay like this on here without anything being trapped underneath, which can easily happen if you lift this out and the little 90-degree turn of the ribbon cable can catch under this ribbon piece here. And you don't want that to happen. It would still work, of course, but it's a little bit angle and yeah. Just a little precaution thing here. The outer PCB is easy to place in there too. Just press it in, it will fit only one way. Place the plastic piece back on here. It should also only fit on one way. And put the screws back in. Oh wait, I made a mistake. Okay, sorry for that. This screw actually doesn't go in yet already. There are only 3 screws you have to fasten. The 3 bottom ones are for this gray plastic piece, and the 4th one actually secures down on this black plastic piece, which holds the button down. So let's place that back in here. There we go. And this black plastic screw will also fasten down the gray one, so be careful there. Sorry for the mistake. And let's fasten down the PCB itself too. There we go. Now let's move to the left button. Place down the black plastic piece and the screw here. There we go. The last one. There we go. Finished. Okay. So this part is basically finished. One thing you can do now is just press the buttons a few times while the alcohol is still in there or not vaporized, just to make sure you're cleaning them from the inside. And I'm not sure if this is a super permanent solution. As said, I've repaired this thing I think 3 days ago or something, and it's still working. So I hope it's a permanent solution, but it's easy to take apart and do this procedure a few times actually. Not sure when you have to replace the buttons, but we'll see what the future brings. These things are over 10 years old now, so what do you expect? Anyway, so placing the lid back on, or the back on, is easy enough. You just have the ribbon cable, and you have to be careful to not damage it, but it comes out far enough anyways for you to connect here like this. You don't have to be super careful about that. Just place it on, and I like to place the back on first and open it up from the front a little. There we go. Just use your finger. It's pretty much easier than using tools. And for you it's probably a little bit easier because I have a few fat fingers. So yeah, that's pretty much fastened down again. So yeah, you can see it inside here. Okay, so once it's connected down, just close the console down again and it should be easy enough. There we go. Let's close down again. Buttons still work, and the next thing to do is just to screw it back together. We have one screw here under the battery cover, one screw here on the outside, another on the outside, and another one. And another one. And there's the last screw, or almost the last screw actually. Because don't forget the tiny little screw from the cartridge slot. This one here. There we go. So it's all screwed back together. Buttons still work perfectly fine. Let's put the SD card back in. Now you can put your game back in, and let's plug in the battery here. Screw down the battery cover, and if you still have your tiny little plastic nibble, which should go here, and you didn't destroy it in the process like I did, yeah, happens sometimes. Put it back in, of course. I think there's a second nibble here or something. Not sure. I've never seen the second nibble on my second DSi here. Though I guess there will go a second one, so yeah. Place it in if you have it. And now it should work, so let's test it out. Let's see. L button still works perfectly fine, like it did before. and let's use the R button, which is working perfectly fine too. So before I had to press it down harder or a few times, and now it works all the time. Let's use the L button again. R button, R button, L button. Yes, works perfectly fine now. So that's how you can repair your DSi pretty easily. It only takes like 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, with video recording it takes a little bit longer for me, but it's super easy. You can do it in, let's say 10 to 15 minutes if you're doing it for the first time. Probably half an hour if you have never done anything like this before, like taking apart stuff and figuring stuff out yourself. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments, or this way. No, this way actually. Yeah, I said I see the screen from this. There's my screen. And yeah, if you have suggestions, just leave them in the comments below here. If this video helped you, leave a like. If it didn't help you, leave a dislike. And if you super liked the video, leave a subscribe and activate the little bell icon, because YouTube is stupid the last few weeks. Anyways, see you in the next one.